We're live.
And we're back. It has been a month. It's been a month. We're sorry. I had some traveling, so that kind of ate into things. And so yeah, it's been a thing.
Who
So but we're here.
cares? We're here now, man. That's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you make the podcast stressful, it's gonna make neither one of us want to do it. So if we
Agreed.
got like life plans and stuff, I think that's something you and I already agreed like up front. And I
Yep.
think neither one of us has an issue with postponing a show if there's something we want to do. And I like that, man. Keeps this fun for me.
No, I agree. I mean, we do try to do every other week. That is the
We
goal.
do.
And I think in life, you kind of have to have a plan or a goal, or else nothing really gets done, right? So if we just said, oh, we'll just do it whenever we want, it would be like every couple of months, maybe. But so you have to have sort of a schedule so that at least it keeps you kind of on track. And then we adjust when somebody's sick or somebody's traveling, or it's like Super Bowl Sunday, which we did that once. It didn't work out. So we learned from that one time.
It was all right, but
It was okay, but so we just adjust, and that's the way it goes. So Bradford, thanks for gifting out some membership stuff. He's just saying he's a member for 3 months. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yes, I have a channel membership. I don't really advertise it and try to beg you to be members or anything. It's 99 cents a month, and you basically get 0 perks, but you help to support me. So there you go. I do some member-only posts every so often, and as I do for sale things, I'll probably post them over there first if I can and stuff like that. So Anthony, damn Santa Dirk's beard is really coming in. Hey, I'm trying. Like,
that's the first thing I said when I saw him today.
it was. I haven't done the full beard thing in a long time. So, and partially because it comes in so white. So, yeah, we're going to see how it goes.
Nice. You got $10 from Bradford, man.
Dude, thank you very much. Bradford says, Dirk, saw the professor unboxing and saw the picture frame you sent. So classy and awesome. Hey, thanks for watching that. Because not only did I send him the giveaway knife that he won, the Archangel from Todd Fisher Sr., the twin, but I also had taken a picture of both mine and the other one, the winner one. Had it printed up at Shutterfly. I think my girlfriend uses Shutterfly. Uploaded it there, printed out some 8x10s, shipped them to me, and then I picked up some frames at Michael's, framed it, wrote a little something on there. Penmanship sucks. Ugh, I'm kind of embarrassed by that, but it is what it is. And then shipped it off to Mexico. Man, shipping a big frame like that was a pain to find a box. So I found a box, and then I shipped it FedEx to him because FedEx is working better there than UPS. And then there was some custom things that got a little delayed because of all this new tariff crap the United States, because of some governmental BS. It took an extra couple of days to get through. He had to submit some paperwork. Like, it was just a hassle. But so, yeah, it was pretty cool. He was super excited. The picture I didn't tell him about. I just said, hey, the knife is on the way. So the picture was a super surprise. Anthony says the beard is looking good. It does look good, but it'll never look as good as Gurry's beard. A little bit of beard envy, gotta say. Okay. David Williams, my friend, how are you, sir? It's been a long time since we've chatted. So anyway, we're not going to go through and say hello to everybody. But today, we wanted to talk about grails, the evolution of grails, what a grail means to you, what it means to me. And funny thing is, I actually looked up the word grail right before we started the live. I didn't even have a chance to tell Alex yet. Do we know what the meaning of grail really is? According to the dictionary, it is the cup or bowl believed to have been used by Jesus Christ before he died.
Yeah, I did know that.
That's actually the definition. Now, we all know, like, the Holy Grail. We've all seen Indiana Jones, right?
Whoa. Look at this big monster, by the way.
Oh, boy. He's getting big.
Yeah.
Now, we all seen Indiana Jones, so we all know the cup of Christ is the Holy Grail and all these things. But I didn't realize that that's actually the dictionary definition.
Yeah.
So kind of a cool little tidbit, a little fun fact.
Well, and then the reason why that everybody refers to it as the Grail knife is because it's like, first of all, nobody knows if the Grail really exists or not, right?
Correct.
Like it's a type of legend in some respects, depending on whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So you're chasing something that may be so far away from your dreams that you don't even know if it exists. You know, it's like one of those almost unreachable type things, but maybe, just maybe.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of goes back to the beginning of the show where I said you kind of have to have a plan for our podcast or a plan in life. I think you need a grail, so to speak, something to kind of work towards, something that you want to obtain in the long run in your collecting world, whether that's collecting knives, collecting watches, collecting baseball cards. I am sure it's been a long time since I've been into the sports trading card thing, but I'm sure there is a grail rookie baseball card, basketball card, football card. You know, I think that's universal in collecting, even in cars, motorcycles, all of that. So I think it's good to have a grail type of thing.
Off the bed. He's not allowed on the bed, you know?
Oh, boy.
Hey, get. Yeah, you better.
All right, so Ed here has a comment. The grail is not the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail would be solid and continuous peace. The grail could still be found. Peace will never be found. Not by humans anyway. Ooh, now we're getting deep philosophical, which is cool.
Have chosen wisely.
I'm down with that. And I agree. We're never going to see peace in our lifetime. Like, yeah, the world's a crazy place. But what we can do is we can figure out what the grail knife is for you. My grail knife, I'm just going to come out and say, is, I'm sure people are going to know already. This is no shock to anybody, is the Frank Fisher battle. And I have obtained my grail over and over and over now.
Cool.
But this was the first model that I did pick up. This was the very first Frank Fisher battle I got. And I love it. Something about the shape, something about the blade, it just all speaks to me. And since I've gotten several battles now, I haven't come up with a new grail. There's other knives that I would like to own at some point in my future. Obviously, I've bought more knives, and I'm having one built right now from Ed Kim or Red Horse Knife Works. I've got a non-flipper flipper that Alex has right now. Like, I've bought some other knives, but nothing that I've put into that grail category. I'm good. If I didn't buy another knife now, my bank account would be very happy with me. And I'd kind of be okay with it. Really. I mean, yes, there's some knives I want, but there's nothing else at the grail status. So let us know before we get to Alex, or while we're getting to Alex, let us know in the comments, do you have a grail? What is your grail? And have you obtained your grail yet? Let's keep the conversation going. But Alex, what is your grail? I mean, I think I know, but is it still?
It's interesting because I kind of bastardized the term grail and turned it kind of twisted into my own thing. And it really came down to a knife that I was able to obtain, but it would be like a once in a year thing, like something like expensive, right? So the first one was maybe like the Sabenza was kind of like, I guess something where I'm like, wow, I really wanted one of those. And now that I have one, I feel like I have a fancy knife. And then when you discover more things and you start learning about more makers, then like the levels start to change, right?
Yes.
Now, when I first started collecting, there was a few like heavy hitters that were knives that for what one reason or another, which I would say is more emotional than it is like logical,
Hmm.
there was a few knives that I always wanted. There was like three in particular, really. One of them is the Stan Wilson non-flipper flipper, which I did a video on, right?
Yep.
And because I always thought that was a mechanical wonder, and it's
100%.
it's seamless. I mean, it is damn seamless.
It's pretty
So that was
cool.
one of them. The other one was a rad cleaver. And the rad cleaver was just this obnoxious, big, overbuilt like thing that I didn't necessarily need, but I just like fell
Hmm.
in love with the way it looked. And at the time, I don't think really many people knew much about like Colin or rad
Right.
knives as
Yeah.
much. As a matter of fact, back then it was called toxic fab, so it was different.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But that was just somebody like I ran into on Instagram and started following since like the early days. And it was an unobtainable knife for me, especially like when he fell off of the scene, right?
Hmm.
And now he's back in the scene, but it's big bucks to get some of these things. And the cleaver, which is the model that I really want, is the one that's going to be the hardest to acquire because he's only going to make limited numbers of those.
Yep.
He's going to make a production one with Riot too, which will be cool.
That'll be cool.
But my best guess is I'm probably better off going on the secondary market and looking for a cleaver there. And I think that's the way I'm going to go when I go chasing for a cleaver. But another knife I always wanted was because of this particular maker that I followed early on, and he was very young and he did some really like quirky, wild looking knives, like straight up like sculpture stuff, like
Okay.
it's
Yep.
not necessarily like maybe like that cutting performance thing necessarily. It's just a really weird, unique blade shape or his own version of a Tonto or whatever it may
Hmm.
be, which was Ian from CMF Metalworks.
That's right. Yes.
So I met Ian. We went out to dinner, actually, him and my wife and his wife, and like we talked, and him and I had planned like that day years ago to make a knife.
Yep.
And because of how expensive they are, like I could have gotten one like a year ago or something like that, when perhaps if I decided to go with a more simpler kind of build. But if I wanted something, like a little more impressive, I'm like, maybe I'll wait till I have a bigger chunk of money to do that. So I finally, like, that day has arrived, and my knife should be done like probably the second week of March. And
Awesome.
what's cool about that model, it's the Mistress V2, and the Mistress was the knife that I always wanted, the
Mm.
V1, and he refuses to make it. I try my best to like make the old school Mistress. He's like, no, I'm not
Right.
gonna do that. I'm like, dude, you know how spectacular that would be? Like that
Right.
all of a sudden this like knife that you made came back, and he's like, nah. But the V2 was actually inspired by me. I was the one that actually talked him into making a V2. And that's why we have the Mistress V2 right now. So that's what he's making for me, is
That's
the
gonna be
knife that
perfect.
I actually inspired for him to make. And it's going to be really boring. It's going to be some Damascus and a bunch of Westinghouse micarta and some Timascus. Really,
so
like,
boring. So
it's
boring.
boring, the usual stuff. But to be fair, like, if you've seen Ian's recent work, if you see the Westinghouse that he's like acquired recently, it is some of the like creamiest, lightest colored like Westinghouse I've seen.
Yep.
So it's really high quality. It's very antique. So it's like, yeah, it's Westinghouse again, like, but it's going to be really nice Westinghouse. So
I completely agree. Patricia says Bodica. I'm not even sure how you pronounce it.
that's a cool knife.
He makes
That's a
great
very cool
knives. I've filmed a couple. I've been honored to film a couple. It's been great. Bradford says there's some on here. It's on custom knives right now, reasonably priced. Anthony Stefano Nardelli, that he makes some really cool stuff, and he's got his
That's
own.
the guy that does the non-flipper
flipper
mechanism.
That's licensed, authorized, probably trained by Stan Wilson. That's the beauty about Stan, is he created this mechanism, and anybody that wants to use it basically can just ask him and he'll show you how to do it, because he wants that legacy to live on when he's no longer able to make them, right? So he gladly shares that knowledge with people, which I think is super, super cool.
Yep. Very clever.
Nick says, is anyone trying to get in on the Sharp by Design Arch Nemesis order drop tomorrow? I didn't know about it, but I am not going to get on it. I got to play with Alex's previously. So is this a production version, or what is it that he's dropping?
So he's dropping spots to make a custom.
Oh, cool. Are you going to try to get one?
They're not, yeah, I am. Shit. I already messaged him and I said,
okay,
if I get a spot, can I send you some more of that uranium glow in the dark stuff to make a mini? Because it's a mini version of Arch Nemesis. Like mine's 4 inches. Okay. This one's like 3.75.
Yeah, and you've got
a little
more of
more
that
chiseled and stuff. So I said, hey, if I can get a spot, can I send you the material to make a matching smaller one? He said yes, as long as you get a spot.
Sweet.
So I'm going to try to get a spot.
Did he say?
Huh?
How many spots is he offering? Do we even know?
I can't remember. It's not that many, man. It's not that many, I don't think. I think it's probably like 20 or something like that. I don't know. Somebody in the comments, maybe Nick knows.
Oh, that's cool. Bradford says he has several grails. One that I've been one I have coming is a Ericus Bloomerus HB21 Buffalo coming in March. I think Ericus is an awesome guy. That is one maker that I absolutely want to meet. We chat a lot. I remember, I think it was Alex that sent me one of his knives.
No, not that one.
No, it was
somebody did send you, I think, like 2 of them. I think you've done at least 2 of them.
Way early on, and I posted the videos, and then he reached out. He commented on the video, and then he reached out to me on Instagram and was so nice. Thanked me for taking the time to talk about his knife and all this stuff. I think he's a great guy. He does fantastic work. At some point, again, not a grail, but something I would like to own is something from him, because I just think he's a great guy. And then the other one that he's trying to get
I almost bought one of those too.
Yeah, he does great work.
Death.
The Shiro and Tom Mayo Arctic Dr. Death. I think I filmed one of those Arctic Dr.
Those are really, really cool. I almost bought one. Not the Arctic Storm version that he's talking about, which I'm familiar with. That was probably like 2 years ago, I think, or something like that it got released.
Yeah.
But the previous one was black carbon fiber, and I think it looked really cool because it's like a stiletto looking knife.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a mini Dr. Death, the Wingman EDC one with the disappearing flipper too. They're really cool. I like that
Oh,
design.
yeah. Patricia says there are 20.
Yeah, I
Nick
thought it was
wants
20.
to know, Alex, can you explain how the drop is working? I don't know if you even know. Is he just going to drop it on
I
his
know
Facebook
all
group?
I know is it's going to be on the Facebook group, is from what I think I read on the post. Like
Did he
on
say
the,
what time? Does anybody remember?
I don't know that. I didn't see that yet.
You
So I'm
probably have
assuming
to
it's going to be
be.
like, yeah, clicked on to notifications, and when he
Yep.
posts, first 20 to get on.
The first 20 to say in or
Which
something
I'm
like
horrible at that, so I'm probably going to miss it altogether anyways. But I'm going to try.
I hear you. Napster Ninja says a grail to me is knives I want. Okay. I limit myself to what I am willing to spend and carry to use. That's a great way to go. The Nirvana, Spyderco Nirvana was my grail and the most expensive I purchased. The Nirvana is a
Okay.
really cool knife. There was a
Yep.
blacked out version somebody sent me that I fell in love with that I almost tried to buy from him, but I think it's a really cool knife. Guri, what is he saying? I have one grail. Perfect number to have. He wants to get a knife made by Bastion Knives with the dragon skin Damascus, but the blade shape I want. I have filmed several from Bastion Knives. They're great. They're a little artsy for me, but they're great knives.
Yep.
Oh, Nick says it's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is going back to Arch Nemesis drop. There's going to be a Facebook drop and then a thing on his website. So 6 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific time, 24 hours and 40 minutes from now, give or take.
Sweet.
So you got
Thanks for
time.
that.
Average Guru says Lotto on Facebook and spots on the site. So yeah, there's ways to do it. You just got to be smart. Oh geez, Al. My grail of grails would be a Ron Appleton cutting tool. Save your pennies. Start saving your pennies. I would like to just handle a Ron Appleton knife. That guy is art knife. He makes like 2 a year, maybe something like that. And they're 30, 40, 50 plus $1,000 knives. It's crazy.
I don't see the appeal in those things.
I don't know that I want to buy one, but I want to check one out in person.
I think it's cool. Like, I just like that price range for a cutting tool. It just,
It's a different level.
yeah. That's
Professor
like
EDC.
my toilet seat is made out of gold level, you know?
Yeah, that's total FU money level when you're buying a $50,000 knife.
Yeah.
Professor EDC. Hey, Alex and Dirk. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm enjoying something really, really special. As you should be.
Flicking the Archangel.
And I hope that you're going to give it some love. You're going to get it used. You're going to get it scratched up and dirty and just do all the things that knives should do because that was made to be used.
That's what she said.
Oh, boy. Luck Knives says there's not really anything I'm chasing, but a Michael Raymond would be cool.
I know he's really popular. I am another maker. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, same with me. It doesn't do anything for me. Knife Life. If you can't get here on time, just show up when you can.
It's just too much like money and not enough return. Like I get like the seamless perfection thing, but
right,
you can get that at I don't know, at that level. I think like I could get something more impressive, you know, like a Todd Fisher Senior Archangel.
They're great. Super great knives. I love them. I bought 2 of them last year, gave one to Professor EDC and to all, everybody had a chance. And then I've got one in one of the drawers over here. So love it.
That's a pretty grail status knife. The Dalibor Bergam knife
Oh,
life chasing. Yeah, Dalibor is
yep.
you know. So I have a knife that is a custom knife from somebody who was formerly trained by Dalibor and has a very similar knife making style actually
Mm-hmm.
from where is that thing? I think I have it in here. It's a really cool knife to look at. It's called the Minisaurus. It's from Damian Knives. And this thing.
I remember filming that one. Luck named it before you even pulled it out.
Yeah. In 3V, crazy, weird, massive
Yeah.
bevel.
It's pretty cool little knife.
It is such a cool knife. I love this thing.
Yeah.
This thing feels amazing in the hand. And it's, it's relatively ground thin,
Yep.
but it's like stocky up at the top, So yeah, that's a knife that I keep around forever. It's a good one.
Yeah, it feels good in the hand. It makes you want to go stab something because it's kind of like this brute little tank.
Yep. And he's another guy that doesn't make a lot of knives. Like he'll make like 10 or 15 knives a year.
Uh-huh. So, but yeah, your grail knife can change. I think in general, a lot of people throw around the grail term way too much in general. This is Dirk's opinion.
I'm one of them.
But you're not so bad. But I see other people like on Facebook and all that. Oh, I just got my grail and now I've got this other grail. Like you're allowed to change your grail. You're allowed to have a second grail. Like you are allowed to do all of that. But sometimes I think people like every other week are getting a grail and I'm like, that's not really grail status. But everybody's grail status is different too. Right? I think to me, what a grail is something that is difficult to obtain and not just readily available. Like funding wise for you, it's a little out of your reach. And two, it's something that there's not just one at every corner store, right? It needs to be a little bit difficult to obtain, regardless of the financial piece. And so when people are talking about, a Spyderco Delica as their grail, I'm kind of like, I'm not trying to be a knife snob, and I don't think I am, but you can order a Spyderco Delica from 22 different websites right now today. I don't know that really qualifies as a grail.
I agree. I just and my video series that I just made, which kind of inspired this whole podcast thing, was like I showed probably a good can't remember how many, probably like in the part 1 video, I think there was like 9 or 12, something like that, knives.
Mm-hmm.
And they all were like significant for different reasons.
Yes.
Like one of them was a knife that almost didn't get made because of like financial issues. And then a year later it was done, right? Like the whole, I don't think we're supposed to say on YouTube, but COVID. So then there was, somebody I asked over and over and over, Brian from Sharp by Design, who finally made me a dagger. That took like years of convincing, right? So like, are they truly grails? Well, kind of, because
yes, I think they fall into that category.
They were really like the arch nemesis dagger was not a sure thing to happen. It wasn't like I got on a list and I waited. Like
Right.
just at the right minute, the right time, he said, "Okay, fine, I'll make you a knife. What do you want?" And I said, "Of course, I want an arch nemesis dagger, right?"
Yeah.
So it was but then like it does make you wonder, like, what the hell, like, is the grail for me, right? So then eventually the knife that comes from like my early days of knife collecting were spending, $300, like, oh my God, on a
Right.
knife. And I'm looking at these, like, at the time, like $4,000 or $5,000 knives, which was like a non-flipper flipper.
Right.
And
I wish those were
now,
4 or 5,000 today.
yeah, they're a lot more than that. That
They
was from
are.
him. They
I
were about
know.
like 4 to 5 grand from him to make at the
Yeah.
time. And that was like a non-Damascus blade, but you could have like fancy bolsters with it.
Yeah.
That's what, like, that got you about like 4 or 5 grand. And then if
Yep.
you wanted Damascus, I think it was like another like 1,000 or 1,200
Right.
bucks or something like that. So I looked into it before and I tried, but I just couldn't get a hold of the guy for
Mhm.
many years. And eventually here, like, you send me yours, and I finally meet this thing after all these years. And it was like I had built up like what I thought that knife was gonna be when I eventually like got one in the hand, and it was impressive is what I expected, right? Like I
Okay.
expected it to be like out of 10, I expected at least an 8 or better on any non-flipper flipper, as in like a wow factor, right?
Yeah. And how
And
did
it
it hold up?
and it impressed me more than what I expected. It
Okay.
actually was really lightweight for what it was.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, really deceiving. I expected it to be clunky.
Yep.
I expected it to be a little bit sharp around the edges.
Mhm.
Like, when you squeeze down on it, I expected to feel, like, the ridges because of the
Right.
thickness of
Yeah,
it.
no.
Nope. What else did I expect? I expected more rotation out of the flipper.
Yes. It doesn't take much. It only turns a little bit. It's a little deceiving for sure. But that's a
And I
great
think
point.
that's why and I think that's why everybody misfires it the first time they handle it, because 'cause you're expecting it to go,
Yes.
"Whee!" Like,
Yes.
not 360, but
No, but
rotate like 3/4 of the way at least, right?
right.
And instead, you get like a 50%, 60% turn and lock.
Maybe. Yes.
And then so if you don't give it a little inertia, like, with your hand, the thing's gonna like not really like open all the way. I mean,
Yep.
maybe somebody with stronger fingers than me. I don't know. But I yeah, I was like, so at that point, I sat down and looked at it and I said to myself, imagine that you had just taken $10,000 and like it's gone, it's out of your bank account. And
Right.
now this knife is in front of you. Like, how would you feel? And of course, I haven't done that, right? So it's easy for me
It
to speculate.
No, but that's a great speculation, and that's what we all need. This is great. So go on. What did you come up with?
I came up with exactly what I said in my video. I could pay 10 grand for this and be like satisfied, because if I did decide to like sell and liquidate the whole collection and I wanted to keep that as my everyday knife, even if I beat it up or whatever happens to it, which I don't beat up knives that hard anyways. Like,
Right.
I could be satisfied with that. It's got like good cutting, characteristics. It's comfortable in the hand. It's not that heavy. It's really unique. It's American made. It's a custom. It's like off the wall rare. Like,
And
it's
it's
cool.
super usable.
Yeah.
Got a great blade shape for usability. It's easy to carry in the pocket and it's easy to hold in the hand. Like it is a great EDC type of knife if you get over the price point, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I know that's a lot of an issue for a lot of people. But for me, that's not an issue anymore. I carried the King Battle for a year, and it's a $10,000 knife. And I carried it everywhere, out in Vernal, out in Utah, off-roading for a week, like sort of camping, not really camping, but like I just carried it and I just didn't care and I just went for it.
Yeah.
The non-flipper flipper is a great one that could just literally be a perfect everyday carry type knife. You just got to pay for it, and you just got to be okay with that mentally. So that's a kind of a great question, though, to the people in the chat, of which a whole bunch of people left. What the hell? Okay, fine. Just saw the number like went. Damn. Okay. If you've gotten your Grail or something up at like in that almost Grail status, when you finally got it in your hand, and or you maybe saw it at a show in person, did it live up to your expectations, or did you decide seeing it at the show that it wasn't for you? Let us know in the comments. And let me get to a couple of comments here because I saw some.
You know what? It was another knife maker that like really blew me away, like when I handled it in person, and is another very difficult knife to get. Is from what's that guy's name? Brian Efros.
Yes.
Brian Efros knives are like wow. Like talk about seamless and like attractive, really cool materials. That is another knife that I am going to be chasing at some point. I've handled maybe like 4 or 5 of them. And
Yeah.
I handled a few of his earlier ones, and then I've handled a few of like super fancy ones my friend Russell used to have, and they were like, and again, another knife that felt like, wow, this is like some cutting tool in your hand, you know?
Yeah.
So, because sometimes, like, I think a lot of the reasons why I keep mentioning, like, oh, yes, it's a cutting tool is because when you start to get to custom knives, like maybe 50% of them are geared towards like high performance cutting. The other like 50% falls in like material and art, and where like, you know, a thick blade is okay, like, because that's what we're doing with this, you know, that sort of thing. So for me, like more often than not, I've found a lot of custom knives, especially in the past. They're better now, but in the past, you see a lot of knives that weren't great cutting tools from some very big makers. So
I agree with them.
I see somebody mention Naughty's knives, you know, from Black.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to those comments here in a second. So, Average Guru Enjoyer, age, Average Guru, whatever. I only have 5 Grails. I only have 5. Okay. Non-flipper flipper, great choice. Arch Nemesis, good choice.
Great choice.
Scott Topper Shrike, I am not familiar with him. Wilford Valtakis Deadlock, not sure what that one is. And Anthony Marfione Masterpiece. I'm not actually familiar with the Masterpiece model, but it's great. Those are awesome choices. Luck says, imagine a non-flipper flipper VC Edge.
Man.
It'll never happen. Jason can't even produce the VC Edges that he has on order right now. Like, we're not going to get into that, but he is starting to send some out now from taking orders literally 3 years ago and holding people's money. So he'll never come up with a non-flipper flipper version, but they are awesome knives. And if you have not handled a VC Edge interface, you are missing out. Master Ninja says he carried a Spyderco stovepipe for about 2 weeks. I didn't really love the stovepipe, but you know, good for you on carrying it.
I'm not partial to yes or no on it, although for me it was like that $400 range, like special edition Spyderco. So the fact that they picked that model of knife which is like a custom model like that
Yes.
that guy makes. But you know, like, I didn't think that was going to be polarizing. Not everybody would love it.
Yeah, Napster Ninja says, I don't know how I scraped up the tight clip. Makes me think twice about carrying my more expensive knives. You just got to not think about it and just carry them. They're going to get scratched up. They will get, the clips will get scratched. The blades will get scratched if you use them, maybe. Like, it's okay. They're tools.
Totally
Knife
okay.
says, yes, both my custom Borka Stitch and MSC Strike Plate XL were absolutely worth it, and both get carried every day. So you're carrying
expensive knives.
Those two knives every day? You like double wrist it? Like if you're into watches, you're wearing a watch on each arm. You're carrying a knife in each pocket? I'm curious about that.
On Wick.
Al says, Naughty's knives seem awesome, but I have never handled one. So I have handled a couple now. I've handled
a lot of them.
A very generous viewer send me a box of knives, the most expensive box I have ever shipped in my life, and it was nuts. Like 6-figure box. We'll just leave it at that. And there was a opiate in there. And was there also a sabotage? I don't remember. I know I've handled both, but there was a full custom opiate inside of that box, and it was pretty amazing. Like it was next level. It was out of this world.
That guy is a very cool custom knife maker, and I think like his biggest like thing that it brings to knife making is the fact that he's a jeweler. And,
that's right.
You know, from Israel, where you know there's so much gold and stuff in the Middle East. Like that's one of those things. So I've like handled like quite a few of them because my buddy had like I think like 6 or 7 of those things. He's really good friends with Naughty. Like that was his favorite knife to collect, and they were really cool. I mean, you know.
I would like the sabotage. I think I love the sabotage. I almost bought the Spyderco version. A couple of times I almost bought it because I just thought it was just so cool.
Did I send it to you?
I think you've sent me one, and yeah, you sent me one. I think somebody else bought one and sent it here, and then they made like a limited edition version or a limited run with like some black car. It was all carbon fiber scale.
That's the one.
That's the one I almost bought also.
Yeah.
Luck Knives says, it feels good when Brian Efros compliments Luck Knives' knives in the Killer Customs group. Absolutely. Like, that's a great thing. And Luck also says he still hasn't handled a VC Edge. He was hoping I was going to bring one to Blade West last year. I couldn't because they were down at VC Edge they were down with Jason being spot, but I have them both back now. I can just ship them to you. That might be easier. I'll ship them to you at some point. I don't mind doing that at all.
How did the custom one turn out? He fixed it?
Yeah, he fixed them both. They both came out perfect. He had to bend the clip on the custom one because it got stuck on my backpack in New York. Thought I lost it. It bent the clip. One of the straps from my backpack getting out of a cab in New York hooked it out of my pocket, and I thought I lost it. It wasn't until after dinner with my friend 50 Shades of Slash on Instagram. After dinner, I got another cab. I went back to my hotel. I took my backpack off, threw it on my bed, and was getting ready to to go to bed. And I saw it dangling from the freaking straps. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was blown away that it was still there. And yeah, the clip was all bent. So I sent it down to Jason to get spod, tweaked the clip back in place. He sharpened it. He sharpened the one that you had done a video on and took apart. He got that all sharpened up and cleaned up. And so they're both like brand new now, which is super great.
Sweet.
No sense in having a knife if you don't carry it. So Patricia says, no sense in having a knife if you don't carry it. I am of that school as well. Yes, I carried this one a lot when I first got it. I upgraded to the King Battle, which is the one I carry a lot now. Just carry them, use them. Right now, I am doing an extended carry with the Rockstead Igo. It was gifted
Those are
to
cool, huh?
a viewer. I think it's super cool. I love it. I wish that. No, this is not a dig. It works exactly like it's supposed to work. I wish the action was a little better. Not so much. I don't need a drop shut. Okay, I don't need that. But I want it to be a little bit more on the firing out, right? With no wrist, it's not really going to make it. I wish that was a little better. But that's just me. What I need to do is probably send it to Alex and have him do his Sabenza guru on it, where he polished all the washers and he made it all super slick. And now he can thumb out a freaking Sabenza like nobody's business.
No, I can't do that to that knife. But I will tell you this. So here's mine. Mine I bought many years ago. It flicks out.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell? Did you do anything to it or just over time?
I just played with it a lot. That's what she said.
Yeah, but this one isn't even brand
And see,
new.
like even sometimes I won't fire mine all the way either.
The previous owner, this is used. He sent it to me a little used, which is fine. It was a gift. I'm so honored. Because it matches my watch. I posted a story on Instagram and stuff today, but yeah, it was super cool. Very generous. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to take it apart. Hopefully over time it will break in a little bit more. Maybe.
Yeah, it will, man. Because look.
See, that's what I want mine to do.
And it's not like I can't misfire it. Like I do have to put like some risk to it, but not a lot. Like I kind of figured it out. It did break in a little bit. So
yeah, so maybe over time I'm going to carry it as my only carry here for a little bit. I'm not going to do a whole year, but I'm going to carry it for a while. So Luck says he got a chance to handle Naughty and Lee Lerman's knives at USN at the Gathering a few years ago, and they were amazing.
Yeah,
I don't think I've done a Lerman yet, but I think somebody's going to send me one here shortly.
I handled a Hydra once, which was pretty cool. That was another very expensive knife. That was like Grail status.
Ginger Plumber, my nephew, all about my Milwaukee folders for work. He's a plumber by trade. He has a TikTok where he does freaking viral videos of sewage plumbing jobs. It's freaking nuts. He'll get millions of views of plumbing sewage stuff. You could just
it's like dirty jobs, like Mike.
It's like dirty jobs, dude. It's like this 30-second video. He'll get 4 million views in like an hour. It's freaking nuts. I'm like, what the hell? And it's all about the Milwaukee folders for work. My Ronin Tactics fixed blade for EDC when not at work, and my CRKT Shitsuka Na Ken as I rotate through cheap folders.
Dang, man. Some ninja shit.
Yeah, he actually went to, if I'm not mistaken, he went and took a class with what the hell's the guy's name at Ronin Tactical now? I'm drawing a blank on his actual name.
Oh, Ronin Tactical? That's
Special Forces guy. What's it? Tulane. Yeah. My nephew and his wife, my niece, they went and took a class with him at one point a couple years ago. Super cool.
That is cool.
There you go. Nick says the Spyderco Subvert. That's the production version of the Sabotage. I was drawing a blank on the name.
Yeah.
But it's super cool. At some point I kind of want one just because it's kind of a cool one to have.
Maybe since you're going to do an extended carry of yours, I'll do an extended carry of mine.
Do it.
Yeah.
Bill Berry says use them, but don't abuse them. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, because if you use them, you'll use them for a very short period.
Yeah, if you use them for what they're intended and you don't pry and you're not using them as a screwdriver and all the stupid things that I have done, in the past, when I was young and I didn't collect knives, I just used the hell out of them. I abused them back then. Not on purpose. I just didn't know. Patricia, this is a great point. If it fits in my pocket, it's going to get carried and used. And I say that's a great point because let me grab something.
Oh, no.
This one might not fit in your girl pockets. I mean, it fits in my jeans pocket, and it's a great conversation starter at the shows.
What about a back pocket? What about a female back pocket?
This at just over 2 pounds ain't going to fit in your pocket. But I have carried it. It's super fun to carry. People love it at the shows. When you've got like a clip that's about 6 inches, people notice that at the show and they're like, dude, what the heck is in your pocket? So it's really fun. But yeah, certainly not going to fit in your lady jeans pockets.
What about the lady jeans back pocket, man?
Do the lady jeans have back pockets? Yes, because they put their phones in there. You're kind of looking and you're like, oh, is that a phone in your pocket? Or Machine-Wise, what is this one? Bradford says, I am super hyped for the release of the Machine-Wise Mojave and the Grimsmo F Gel.
I'm not familiar with the first one. I'm familiar with the second one.
Yeah, the women's jeans pockets suck. I don't know from personal experience, but I do know from women telling me that they suck. I actually had a conversation with my girlfriend about that the other week. She was talking about that. And I go, yeah, like women knife collectors always complain about the pockets too. Oh, Napster Ninja, Spyderco Subvert. I have an extra carbon fiber version, like an extra one that you're trying to give away to a small little YouTube channel. I'm just saying. I can send you my address. Just throwing it out there. Oh, here's my niece, who was a friend before I introduced her to my nephew. Little fun fact there of my family. She loves her CRKT and Benchmade. My other knife isn't legal in California.
What's the other knife?
I might have some that aren't legal here. I might have some other things in the tool category that are not legal in California, but I don't.
I want to know what Sabrina doesn't have that's not legal.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she has that's not legal either now that you mentioned it, but
I'm curious.
A Spectre doesn't fit in her girly pants. Billberry, this is her husband, says a Spectre doesn't even fit in her girly pants. Really? A Holt Spectre doesn't fit into girl jeans? That's just bad. What is up with that?
She said it's an OTF.
Dirk, do they think OTF. Women just aren't going to carry anything in their pocket because they have a purse? I guess that's the mentality. So why even have pockets then? I don't know. Oh, so Sabrina's got an OTF. Yeah, I've got an OTF here too. Like, now they're legal to own in California. They're just not legal to carry in California unless they are under 2 inches. Like, they don't even tell you how much. It just has to be under 2 inches. Stupid rules. Like, stupid rules.
I think OTFs are fun. And I overheard a little rumor that apparently, like, they're working on OTFs legal in California in 2025, maybe?
They should be. It's a stupid thing. There's no reason. I swear to God,
that might be a thing. So
I can deploy this is equally as fast as that deploys. Like, there's no reason. It's stupid. Like it's dumb. I don't understand the reasoning. Get out of here with that. This thing, by the way, was not my grail, but it's grail status for a lot of people. Yeah, that actually is on washers. That's washers. It's crazy. This is a Tim Gallion XL junkyard dog called the Eagle. If you haven't watched my video on that, you should. It's amazing, the construction and all of that stuff.
You know, was another grail knife that I was kind of like bummed I didn't put in the video was the the Cultratech knife, the Ors, that has the corkscrew in the back. That was also kind of a Grail status knife, because that is such a desirable knife, and it is very low numbers, and it was very sketchy to send 2 grams money, 2 grand MoneyGram to Russia.
Grams. What were you sending? 2 grams of what? I'm sorry.
2
Wait a
grand.
second. What did you say out loud?
2 grand.
Oh, 2 grand.
2 grand through MoneyGram.
Yes.
To Russia, because they didn't have PayPal. They
Nope.
didn't do PayPal. Like they didn't. Yeah, it was like you had to MoneyGram the cash, and I was like, God, this is either the most stupid thing I've ever done, but I really want a Cultratech, and I really want a brand new one directly from them. So I did it, and the knife showed up. Thank God.
Yeah, it's always weird. Like I just sold a Todd Rexford. I was selling it for a friend. I just sold it yesterday. I was talking to him.
What did that go for?
Friday. He was asking 6,500, and it went for a little less than that. It was in the 5s.
That's cool.
And it was kind of, you mentioned buying from Russia and sending money and stuff. It was funny. I'm talking to the guy on Friday. He goes, let me sleep on it. I'll let you know tomorrow. All that, which is totally fine. Last night at, I don't know, 6 o'clock or something, he reaches out. He goes, all right, yeah, let me do PayPal to you for this price, all that. But hey, but before, can we get some vouchers? And I'm thinking, yeah, we could have done that like this morning. Like, sure. I said, make a post on Facebook, tag me in it. I'm sure you'll be satisfied. I've spent a lot of time building my reputation. I have a YouTube channel I post every day for 5 years, like all this stuff. And like he comes back, he goes, all right, never mind. I just sent the money. It's all good. I'm like, okay, go. But I get it. It's a lot of money that he just sent a total stranger. So I get it. Like it's weird to send money to people and hope you get your knife, right?
Yeah.
So it's all boxed up. It's sitting on the kitchen table. UPS is open tomorrow, but I thought they were closed. So we already arranged to ship it on Tuesday. He'll get it Wednesday morning. And I dropped my AirTag in there. So I'll share my AirTag with him so he can track it real time. And what I do is I put the AirTag in a self-addressed stamped envelope, so to speak. It's in one of those padded things with a label on it. All you've got to do is drop it back in the post office or give it to your mail carrier, and it'll get back to me. So on higher end purchases like that, I do offer that if you want. I've had people turn it down and say, nah, don't put that in there because it might draw attention or whatever. Okay. But it's kind of weird. But
I think it's cool.
Since my niece and nephew are in the chat right now, that means my great nephew, Little Man, is probably watching. Little Man better behave his butt at school. I heard we're going to have a little chat next time I swing by. I'll just leave it at that.
Whatever you did, good job.
So Average Guru says, my boss daily carries an OTF in California. He doesn't know it's illegal. I have carried an OTF a lot in California, and I have never had a problem. So I don't really have a lot of contact with law enforcement in my daily life. Like, I mean, I do in my professional world. I do. But driving around, going to the mall, doing things. When I lived in Southern California, I was always carrying something that was illegal in that area. And I got pulled over and I got tickets while I was carrying a tool concealed that you can't carry. And I just, yes, sir, no, sir. It's your attitude, right? If you're just polite and professional with law enforcement, there's going to be no reason for them to hassle you and get in trouble. So act like a normal, respectful human being and we'll be good. And yes,
and then pull out one of these and get arrested.
Exactly. And yes, my great nephew is watching, so he did hear that. So that's good.
Everybody's been making a lot of posts about the arch nemesis dagger, so I thought I'd bring it out and, in all its glory.
So Average Guru says arch nemesis dragon didn't meet the reserve price again, bid to 10.4. I guess there's a special one he made. I'm not familiar.
I didn't see that one. Yeah.
Oh, I guess my stern talking to my great nephew didn't really hit home, since he just said, I don't know, but
it's because Alex said,
yeah, and then my nephew is
not,
sort of encouraging some shenanigans too, which yeah.
Was it funny? That's my question. Was it funny?
No.
I
don't think it was
funny. It again then. Yeah. If it's not funny, don't do it.
Yeah,
if it's funny though, do it.
But yeah, so it's fun. Vern's for double S here. Better late than never. I bought the Gen X. Love it. Very cool. My nephew says, haha, what was that knife you were holding up, Alex? And no, it wasn't funny. What my great nephew
he
did.
said yet. Funny. Yeah. Then he said yet.
It's one of those things that later in life you look back on, it's kind of funny, but when you're like, when you get in trouble at school as like a little kid for things that aren't little kid-ish, it's not really funny at the moment. But that's all good. He was just holding up the arch nemesis. That's from
yeah, the Sharp by Design arch nemesis dagger. This one's cool because it glows in the dark.
Yeah, for like 12 seconds, but it does glow in the dark.
Yes, and that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yes, it's because like the material is so thin.
Yeah, I can't hold the charge very long.
Yeah, that's the reason why. This stuff that I use though, when it was like a brick, I put it out like just in the sunlight and bring it back in. It was glowing like
I bet.
It's very strong stuff, but
yeah,
it's just it was too thin of like a thing. So
it is a very sexy knife, and it is sharp on both sides. It's a true dagger. It's a very, very cool knife.
And it's so symmetrical,
Speaking of cool knives, here is another
symmetrical.
another Hellraiser that is for sale. This is not mine. Somebody sent it in to sell. If a Flipper Damasteel Hellraiser is your grail, President's Day sale.
If you really want for that guy,
asking $35, but make me an offer. I know where he can go with it. There's a price. What's really cool about it is the backspacer's carbon fiber, polished zirconium bolsters, zirconium clip that works phenomenal, copper infused carbon fiber. It's got some copper in there.
Yep.
And then copper thumb disc. And there's a little copper spacer between the pocket clip and the blade or the scale. It's super cool.
And there's little pocket or copper inserts, it looks like, in the clip.
And then there's copper inserts on the pocket clip. Ding, 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 ding. It's super cool. It's not the Black Death series, but it is a full custom. Yeah, it's super cool. I wish I could buy it. I can't buy them all. If I had my option to buy a knife right now, I would have bought the Todd Rexford and not shipped it. But I'm hoping I can get this one sold for the guy and ship it out to somebody. So I still have to film the video, but I'm going to probably film it tomorrow so that it's ready to ship if somebody ever wants it. But yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, don't show me that stuff, man.
But I can't buy another Hellraiser right now because I've got Ed Kim working on the last Hellraiser. So I got to save my money for that, and I've got a trip to Greece later in the year. So I got to save a little bit of money for that as well.
I do feel like I kind of need a Hellraiser custom in my collection at some point. But then, like, at the same time,
Ship it to you. It's got
what I
double
want,
bolsters even, and he didn't do a lot of double bolsters.
it's sweet, but then, like, I almost want him to make me, like, a chopper even more.
Okay, there you go.
Because, you know, that's my model. That's the one that I like.
That's true. Luck Knives says, that reminds me, I do still have that Raffir that glows and color changes in natural light. Should use that on a Blade Texas build. Blade Show Texas. When is that? Isn't that like a couple weeks?
I will keep up on that. I'm not sure.
Does that mean that Luck has a table at Blade Texas? Very cool. And yeah, Luck and I have a project too. We're working on like a secret project number 2. At some point, we're going to finish.
Sweet.
So I had secret project number 1 last year, which was the twin knife stuff, and then I've got secret project number 2 with Luck.
Nice.
So Luck does have a table, number 12U. If anybody is in Texas and going to Blade Show Texas, go check him out. He's got some cool stuff, and he's a cool dude. So I look forward to seeing him at Blade Show West in Utah later in the year.
Yep. Oh, and I do have a custom
March 7th and 8th is when that is.
So next episode, I will have my first full custom torch. Which
That's right. Who from Yellow Day Energy, who is also going to be at Blade Show Texas.
Yep. He made me a full custom torch that is themed like my dog. So it's going to be like the cattle dog blue healer color, which is kind of neat. I haven't seen it yet. He saw it already. And my dog has like 2 distinctive, like just pure black spots, one on his tail, one on his side. And so I told him like that would be a very like identifying feature to the flashlight, like to the dog. So we went ahead and did those spots, but he said like they came out so black, he sent it back to do like a little bit of like a little bit of brushing in white.
Yeah.
So he said it looks awesome. He's already seen it. He just sent it back to fix those 2 little spots, and then he said on Monday he's going to send me some pics of, and if I'm happy with it, then it'll be on its way, which is kind of cool.
I am excited. Guri says that he is working with Gene on a custom build right now. Gene is from Rugged Mountain Blades, and I might have heard something about that from Gene the other day, actually. Luck is going to miss Blade Show West this year because he's being deployed. I thought you were like past the deployment stages in your career, but hey, when you're in the military, you kind of go where they tell you to freaking go. So wherever you go, if you go, be safe out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Knife Life says
good news is he's an airframe mechanic, or I think right, like he's a
aircraft mechanic. So he's not going to be frontline stuff. So
yeah,
Knife Life's got a kid on the way.
Nice,
congrats.
Did you cash in on that Greg Medford coupon?
Oh shit!
Man. I really wanted to see if somebody has had to post that they were going to take that coupon. I want to know how many people actually took the discount.
That was so stupid.
What a douche.
Yeah, I can't even go there. Like I'm doing state of collection videos right now too. And I've got some Medfords. I'm like trying to figure out, do I do a state of collection of the 3 Medfords I still own, or do I just mix them in with the other 9 miscellaneous knives?
Do them together, man.
I think I'm just going to mix them in with the rest of the miscellaneous knives. I don't know. I may just, I don't know. I got to do that. I'm trying to film those this month also, because I was trying to get all the state of the collections done in January, but it's kind of spilling over into February, obviously. But I'm hoping to get them all filmed in February, so I don't drag it into March. So yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
yeah, everybody's given a lot of love for Knife Life and Kid. That's exciting time. I don't know if he's got other kids. Do you have other kids, or is this the first kid? I mean, I've talked to him a lot. I don't know if he's got other kids. So, but yeah, it's a great thing. I've got 2 kids. Alex has one who was like, just got an award. Like, I don't even remember what it was now, but that was super cool.
It was most improved award.
Most improved.
Yeah, that means she was a little shit in the beginning, and then now
she's probably she was probably calculated about that because she's smart. So she acted up at the beginning of the year, and then she got way better.
I used to get the exact same. I did the exact same thing. That's why I think it's funny. I have no like when she like does what she does. Like she's a good girl and she's very ambitious. Like she wants to please the teacher. Like she's really sweet. But sometimes she gets into like these modes and has her meltdowns, of course. And then like she's always like me and my daughter always we always say she always gets there at the very end.
I know.
You know?
I know. I got nothing. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm sorry.
That makes him a fanatic.
It makes me a fanatic, and I had 3. What's worse is at one point, I'm just open with you guys. At one point, I owned 50 at one time. I also owned a couple of Invicta watches back in the day. So
hey, nothing wrong with those.
I think, we all go through those phases. And then I woke up one day and realized I don't need 50 of these stupid knives. And I sold all but 3. And there's a reason why I kept the 3. You'll have to watch the State of the Collection to find out why, because I will talk about why I keep those 3. But I will also tell you right now that they are in the bottom shelf of the safe, and they don't come out. They don't get posted anymore. They never get carried. They're literally just in the safe.
See,
Guri says that Invicta is still cool. Depending on the model. When you have the Russian diver that's the size of a Skoal can of chew, and you think it's hot shit, that's not cool.
I think that watch is cool, man. It's a conversation piece, man.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse watch is pretty cool. I had a Pac-Man watch literally a couple of years ago, and the alarm played the little that was the alarm.
I have a Timex one.
Yeah, I think it was a Timex Pac-Man.
Yep, I got one of those.
It was super cool. I bought it from a buddy. It matched my socks, so I'm into the matchy thing. I had some Pac-Man socks. I needed a Pac-Man watch. So, yeah, there you go. Whatever.
Nice.
That's my Pac-Man Hank. So I had like a little set going on.
So speaking of like carrying stuff, like how long are we going to carry like these things, man? Like I don't know. What's the goal?
I don't have a goal. But after I carried the King Battle for 366 days and I went back to carrying new, like different knives, I actually prefer to carry just one knife for a longer period of time because picking a new knife every day was just a little too stressful. Like, I mean, it's not really stressful, but there's a little anxiety with that. I get analysis paralysis, if you will. Like, should I carry that one or this one? And like, okay, I'll just take this one and then I go. Like, it was just for me. I like just carrying one knife for a long time. So I don't know. What's funny is I've never
I'm probably going to drop out way before you.
The funny thing is I've never carried the non-flipper flipper. I bought it while I was carrying the King Battle for a year. So I never carried. I carried it one time, one afternoon over to my jeweler just to show him. But that was it. And then I carried the King Battle. And then I bought a Todd Rexford Singularity C during that time. I carried it once also to show my jeweler. Yeah, that's it. So I need to carry the non-flipper flipper when I get it back. No rush. So I don't know, a month or so, maybe 2 months. I don't know. I don't have a date. I'm just more into the
I could
experience.
do a month.
Guri carries the one fixed blade and one folder daily. I have his Abajo Blue over here. Did a video on it. It's the EDC fixed blade that I'd kind of like to own now.
Yeah,
And as soon as the video came out, Gene reached out. He goes, "They're out of stock. Not making them anymore. I'm making a different one. This guy has 2 of these fancier ones, but he'll make you a deal and all that." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good right now." Because I wanted a green one like Guri has, and he's not doing those. There were 2 wood handled ones. I didn't really love them. And he's got a new EDC fixed blade that he's coming out with that's a little longer. And I'm like, I don't necessarily, I mean, it's cool. And I hope I get to check one out because I know Guri might be getting one. So I might get to check it out. But I think it might be too big. Like, I liked the Abajo Blue because it was just like the right size. Like, I don't know. But I'll talk him into making me one in the future sometime, I'm sure. But I don't need it. We'll see. But it was the fixed blade that I got into that I thought I could start to carry an EDC fixed blade because of that knife.
Oh, you know what I have done a long-term carry with is this watch.
And what watch is that one?
So this is like a titanium Timex Expedition.
Okay.
Thought about it. And it's got this like kind of recycled like material as like the watch band.
Yeah.
And it is literally like I almost never feel like it's there. And I have like nicer watches, right? Like I have, stuff. But for some reason I have had this thing on almost 2 months now. That's pretty long for me in a watch, 2 months.
Yeah, my nephew says Expedition is my backup watch. He has an Apple Watch.
Yeah. They did a really good job. Like the case is a bit thick is like maybe my only like complaint, which is not really a huge thing for me.
Right.
But like it's got like 200 meters of water resistance. Yeah. It's got like a symmetrical date wheel. And what I like about it the best is it's super legible. Like you just look down and you know what time it is instantly. Even the seconds hand is very legible. So it's got loom, which is okay. It actually like will have like tiny bit of loom next, like when you wake up in the morning, if you sleep with it overnight. So the loom's like up to par with, good watches, which is cool.
Now, do you wear a watch at night when you go to sleep?
Sometimes.
I always
if sometimes I fall asleep with it on, or if not, like I'll take it off and I always keep one right next to my bed because I just like sometimes I'll wake up and like, oh, what time is it? I mean, you could do that with your phone too, I guess, but
I actually have an alarm clock next to my bed still.
Yeah.
And then I use the alarm, although I don't sleep very well. So I'm usually awake about an hour and a half before my alarm goes off every day, regardless. It doesn't even matter. But I still set the alarm just in case. Guri, double wristing it. I wear the watch I put together through AliExpress, his Franken watch and his Apple Watch. I tried an Apple Watch for a couple of weeks, years, at least like back in 2017. They came out with a new model. One of the guys at work bought the new model and he was going to sell the old one. I didn't want to buy it yet. I go, well, let me check it out. So I wore it for a couple days, maybe a week, paired it with my phone, all that stuff. The problem was I'm right-handed, but I also wear my watch on my right wrist. Not right this second, obviously. My left hand, it was too stupid to figure out how to use the watch. Like it was dumb. Like I couldn't use it because my left hand was not smart enough to use the watch. So it didn't work for me. And everybody I knew that had watches, Apple watches back then, they'd get the text or something on their watch, and then they'd pull out their phone and respond. Or they'd get a call and then pull out their phone and answer it. Like, I'm like, what's the point?
That's the reason why I didn't get one.
You're still using your phone for everything. It's just like an extension of the notifications.
I mean, you can, but it's like a pain in the ass to text on it.
Yeah, so to me, I didn't see the point in the Apple Watches. Now, I know my niece and nephew both have Apple Watches. They love them probably. They're going to start commenting about it, whatever, but that's fine. Guri obviously likes his because he's wearing one. And I'm sure it works. Just didn't work for me because I wear it on my right wrist. So that's the user problem, not your left hand. No, it's my left hand is not smart enough to use that fine motor skills. That's the problem. So I just had to forego the watch. But I didn't really want the Apple Watch anyway. I mean, so I just get back to the guy. But
right on, man. Well, I think I hear my dog scratching at the door. It's time to feed the kid.
I think it's time. So, oh God, we'll leave it at this. We're gonna have one more comment from my niece. She is proud to say that she is an Apple whore.
Me too.
Well, there you go. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us today. Come back in a couple of weeks. We will be back, and make sure you're subscribed to Alex's channel. Make sure you're watching my videos, and we'll see y'all later.